So, hi everybody. If you don't know me, my name is Janine Vosper, and what we're going to be looking at is the 5 key strategies to amplify your personal brand authority. When you do that, you will engage more clients and you'll make more sales. What you are going to take a lot of notes. I am happy for you to take photographs. Some of the slides have got a lot of points on them, and if you want to take a photograph of it, please do. I find I remember things better when I take notes for it. So if you want to do that also, but make sure you've got some way of recording the information as we're going through, because there is a lot of it. I'm going to run through, you know how some webinars you go on and you go, well, that was sort of a waste of time. I didn't take anything away. And then they tried to sell me stuff at the end, and it was not a good use of my time. What I'm going to do is run through, I'm going to give you a lot of content. If you feel at the end of it that I may be able to help you achieve the results that you want, I am going to run through an offer at the end for the people that are on the thing tonight. And if you feel that you want to work with me, great. And stay and listen to the offer, because it is good value. But I want to make sure you get great value out of the presentation. I also want to make sure that you interact as well, because that way you will get even better value out of it. So how about we get started? Here we go. Branding is one of those things that it's not what you think about you, it's what other people think about you. And I don't know if this has been a problem of yours, that you've spent a lot of money and time, website advertising, but still not seeing the results. I know I haven't, most of all the growth in my business has not been through paid advertising, but a lot of things that I see people do when they first start out is they invest a ton of money in things that really aren't a good return on investment. So there's one of these things you might be able to relate to. I often doubt your abilities. I've been doing some training for some companies recently on the glass ceiling and that imposter syndrome, and male, female, it doesn't matter. Everyone suffers from that at some point when they're doing what they're doing. This is a big thing. I go to a lot of networking events and I see people deliver a pitch, but they don't really clearly define how they help people. So they miss out on that opportunity to get people to want to be engaged with what they do or find out a little bit more. So if you find that's a problem, we're going to be addressing some issues on that, on how to help with that. Setting goals and getting distracted, really easy to do. And I know there's things I work with my clients, particularly this how to set goals and 90-day plans, etc. So if that's one of your things. And the other thing is that you just don't invest enough time well, you invest maybe too much time and just nothing's happening for you. I should have numbered these 1 to 5, but if there's points there that you can resonate, just imagine they have numbers 1 to 5 on them. If you want to pop in the chat, please, what resonates with you the most, and how whether something's popping out that yeah, that's something that's really happens with me all the time. I've got a 3 from Nicolette. Yeah, that's one of the things that I find that a lot of people have the most issue with, was how do you define what you do? And especially if you're somewhere where you've got to pitch it in under a minute, it really makes it difficult. Getting distracted, there's lots of things. Doubting yourself. Okay, thank you. 4 and 3 and a 1. Yeah, beautiful. Well, guess what? You're in the right place tonight. So that's great. And oh, I forgot to say, if there's things that you want to ask questions on through the way, what I'd love you to do is to write the questions down. Don't pop them in the chat, because I know it'll distract me, but write them down and then ask me at the end if I haven't already covered it. It's a great way to make sure that you get answers for the things that you might want to know. All right, so what actually is brand authority? It refers to the trust a brand has earned among customers and the degree in which they see your brand as your brand. That's the really important factor to remember. It's how someone else sees you. How do you establish a brand authority? And then obviously we've got 5 points coming up. But you can be active online and offline, create that presence. Your content, how you engage people, not just social media, but how you engage people wherever you are. There's some of the major factors, but there's a whole lot more. You'll see there's a lot of lists of things that we do. And why is it important? Oh, you've probably heard this a lot, that know, like, and trust, that people will deal with you once they know you, they get to like you, and they trust that you can help them. And that's what you want to be able to do with create with your brand, is exactly that. And it's absolutely important and critical for everybody to be the brand, the front of their business. Once you are that front of your business, that you are seen as the brand itself, then people will identify with you and you'll be recognized and people want to work with you. Now, can I just get everyone to mute themselves? That would be great. Appreciate it. All right. So that's what brands are. A brand authority, it's a really useful way to drown out other noise. People go, oh, well, there's so many other people out there doing what I'm doing. But that doesn't matter if you are seen as that authority in that particular space. And no matter how many brands create the same offer, well, usually they actually don't have the same offer. That's what we need to look at when we do sales training, is that unique selling proposition, what makes you different. But it's your reputation that makes you stand out. And I love this particular statistics. Customers with an emotional relationship with a brand have a 306% higher lifetime value and recommend that company at the rate of 71%. So that's big numbers. So you really want to be able to create that brand for you. A little bit about me. I started working when I was 13 years old. And that's just part-time, car wash chick, shop assistant, window dresser, aerobic instructor. When I moved into a reps role, I took it from $0 to $400,000 in 2 years, selling Band-Aids into industry. When I moved into the GM role of that same company, though we were working on $3 million a year, and through the GFC, I took it to over $10 million with my sales team, secured every single mining company in the Bowen Basin, most of the government organisations, most of the councils as well. So I've been working in sales for a very long time. My business Speech Perfect, I started in 2007. I have spoken on international stages. I host the We Are Women podcast. So a lot of things that I've been doing has created that brand recognition, and I want to be able to share a lot of those things with you. Okay. And yeah, here I am today. These are some of the companies that I have worked with over time, doing different roles in the different responsibilities and jobs and businesses that I've had. Well, and back here, I was asked to contribute a couple of things to Koshi's Business Builders, a couple of articles. And for some of the networking events, networking organisations, have been a finalist for 4 years. And for Logan Council, I was a finalist for the 2023 Business Distinction Awards. And I was actually the winner of that for small business, for business to business, which was a really exciting night. Yay! It was really unexpected. I was so pleased to be finalist, because their finalist is, that was a big deal. But to win it was just awesome. So look, the reason I tell you all this is because I've been doing things for a long time, and it takes time, but it takes consistency. But it takes consistency and time doing the right thing to get the results that you want to get. And I really just want to show that. I hope it demonstrates I know what I'm talking about a bit. I've written a couple of books, and for those that stay on to the end, I'm going to give you a soft copy of one of these books. So if you want to pop in the chat which one you would like, so there'll be an email copy for the people that stay on till the end. Which one would you like? Being Unstoppable or Good Girls to Sell? So pop that in the chat now. And if someone can do me a favour right at the end, remind me to save the chat all the way along. That would be excellent as well. Okay. And there's been one of the things that I encourage people to do is to get Google reviews, and mine's sitting at 49 5-star reviews at the moment. I'm really trying to aim for that 50th. So if you get off here tonight and you go, wow, that was great, Janine, loved it, very happy for you to go and write another 5-star review for me. That would be wonderful. These are just a couple of the ones that I have worked with over time in different roles and different places. So this has all been through Speech Perfect and different types of training that they have taken up. A lot of the people, when I'm working through the training, what I do is help people have confidence to believe in themselves. And that's, the important part for me. I love what I do. The reason I do it is because of the results I see for people. That's what rocks my boat and gets me up every day. Talking about branding, let's get into this training part of it. When we're looking at brands, there's brands that we recognize, and they'll be whatever, they've got a good tagline, they spend a lot on marketing, whatever it is, but there's definitely brands that we recognize the logos. And another part of branding is your colors. And look, we're not doing anything on colors, but I love this slide and this information. And why people might choose a certain color for their brand, because the colors do make a difference as to how you stand out. And think about this now as you see different brands around as to what colors they're using and what are they trying to project with that particular brand. Anyway, we're not doing colors. I know some wonderful graphic artists who do a great job with that. But it's important to match that with your personality. Such an important factor. You build your personal brand authority. You do it. It's not somebody else doing it for you. But I want you to write these questions down. You're not going to necessarily answer them now, but I want you to stay focused on me, because these will take a while for you to think about. But make sure you do take the time to answer them. What are your personal skills and strengths? What problems are you uniquely good at solving? It's a great question, isn't it? Uniquely good at solving. And that'll help you figure out what your unique selling proposition is. What are the biggest needs in the market, meaning your market? The people who would come to you to buy things. What's their biggest needs? And what are your drivers and motivators? Because there's things, I know when we work for ourselves, we have to motivate ourselves every day to get out there and make the phone calls, turn up where we're meant to turn up. And it's very easy to get distracted. I know a couple of people put number 4 before as a distraction. That motivation, when I was working as a sales rep, that was a really big deal, because it was so much cold calling to build that business, and I had to push through everything. And then when I moved in the GM role, it was the same for my sales team. I had to really motivate them to do exactly that, especially the people that were based remotely. And when we're working for ourselves, that's what we're doing. And what are your core values? I'll go a little bit more into that as well. Those questions are such an important factor for you to answer. These are the 5 keys that we're going to look at tonight. So we're going to look at how to be bold, how to be relevant, be authentic, be noticed, and be determined. And our first one is to be bold. This is such an important factor. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I talked to her about putting her face out in front of her business. And I was so excited when she tagged me in on a post today that she had done exactly that. She was so negative about it and didn't want to have a photo. And she did it. And I was very, very excited for her, because we are the front of our business, especially if we're a sole trader. We need to be seen as the front of the business. And that's where that success starts, absolutely 100% with you. So again, some questions. When I work with clients through the branding program, we start with the basics. And the basics are figuring out the things that you value. There's no use doing things unless they're part of your value system. And look, there'll be things that you value, being on time is one for me, but that's not deep core value. It's something I like, but what are your deep core values? And as you change your situation in life, they change as well. When you've got young children are, your highest value. As they get older, that may change for you. So figuring out those core values for yourself. What do you believe? Now, this is what holds you back. What are your beliefs? We, all through school and through with our parents and everything, it comes at us, we have set beliefs. And sometimes we actually believe those beliefs are true, which is a really interesting spot when we go, well, maybe they aren't. This is great questions again. How do your beliefs serve you? Or are they serving you? Are they serving you in building the success in your business and helping you be bold and stand out? And that's the next question. Do they serve you? These are really core questions that we dig deep into in the program, because it starts here. And if you get this, then you'll smash it. These are some different things that you can apply to have a success mindset. Accept compliments. That's such a big deal. When someone gives you compliments, say thank you. Call out that imposter syndrome for those that put, I think it's number 2 on that list. And don't fake it till you make it, but feel it until you make it. It's really good tips to be able to do that. Excuse me. Be curious about things. It's such an important factor. Be prepared when if you've got a pitch. Excuse me again. Oh, frog. Visualize your success and make decisions and take action. I know when I was in the GM role, that was one of the things that earned me the most accolades, I suppose, and income, was being able to make decisions and taking action. And that we often hesitate. It's something, and I know, ladies, this is something we tend to do a little bit more so, is we'll make a judgment call on ourselves as to whether we will take a certain action or not, whereas men tend to jump in. It's not a sexist thing, it's just a fact that tends to happen. And I don't know whether it's more acceptance or respect that men have for themselves in the situation or different situations, but it actually is a statistic. Think about those points. So there's a lot of slides with a lot of comments on like that. This is the ones that I'd suggest taking photos of. Make boldness a virtue. So recognize what needs to change. We talked about those beliefs. Are those beliefs serving you? Do you need to maybe figure out whether that's a good belief or a belief that's really helpful to you? Gosh, you may even need to change the way you think about things. When we've been doing things for a long, long time and it's always been that belief we've stuck there, it can be difficult to do that. Be really willing to listen to other people's ideas and opinions. I'll have a high standard of excellence. A bold person has a high standard of excellence. Have a clear vision and strategic direction. When we know where we want to go, then we can actually be bold and we can have those successes. If we don't know where we don't want to go, and the last point, I'll run through a way to write goals out so you have more chance to have success with them. Remain focused on your top priorities, and the person who is bold sees opportunities and acts. Again, you're going to hear this a lot about taking action. I've had back pain in the last couple of days. I had a back spasm on Tuesday and it's slowly getting better, and except when I lie down, but everything else is pretty good. My chiropractor said to me, not being pain adverse, when you get pain, keep moving and don't stop because that makes it worse. So keep moving. And it made me think about, and you saw my post this morning on Facebook about being risk adverse. And when we are risk adverse, we stop moving. We stop moving forward. And this is something to think about. Are you risk adverse? And does it stop you from doing the things that you want to do and stop you from standing out and being bold? At the end of each one of these is a quote that I particularly like, so I have added it in there. So whenever you see a successful business, Someone has had the courage to make a decision. Not making a decision, by the way, is making a decision. Making a decision not to make a decision. But I read an article years ago that the highest paid executives were the ones who made the most decisions. They weren't always good decisions, but they made the most decisions. So I'm going to ask you this question on the end of each one of these. And if you can pop that in the chat, that would be excellent. And think about it. So what's one thing that you can do tomorrow to be more bold? Just one thing that you might do that might make you a bit uncomfortable, but you will do it because you know making yourself uncomfortable will move you forward. People talk about stepping out of your comfort zone. I really don't believe there's anything such thing as a comfort zone. I believe where you feel comfortable in is more of a confinement of anxiety rather than somewhere you might feel comfortable. So what can you do? One more thing. Start a Facebook Live. Good on you, Jeff. Take more action. Nicolette, well done. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy not to do that one thing. And sometimes it is just that one thing or that 1%. So not even writing in here is not taking action to do one thing. And if you're thinking about, well, why aren't I commenting? No, it's that action thing, isn't it? Very good. Great. Excellent. Follow schedule, dedicate advertising time, cold calling, make calls from a small business, diverse carers. Well done, all. Thank you for sharing those. You know that you've written them down there. They're a bit of a commitment, don't you? All right. The second one is be relevant. The meaning of relevance. The Oxford Dictionary defines relevance as a state of being closely connected or appropriate to the matter at hand. To be relevant is thus to be important, but the term implies more than that. Let me see what I'm talking about, relevance. One of the things that when you're in business, apart from your values and belief systems, you need to figure out why you're doing things. If you've got a really strong why, then you will stay committed. You won't procrastinate. You'll continue to get things done. What most people talk about is what they do and how they do it, but not why they do things. And owning that why is such an important aspect. Question again that I want you to think about later. Yeah, you've got some homework on this, okay? But all of these things in depth in the program, if that's something of interest. But again, do this work. What impact do you want to make in the world? What is it? And what's your mission statement? So my mission statement is exactly this: to inspire people to believe in themselves so completely that they can do what they didn't believe was possible. Every day, my actions, why I'm doing the webinar tonight, everything I do when I work with people training, why I offer such great deals with all the training, is exactly that. That's where that rocks my boat. That's what gets me, putting the effort into what I do every single day. What's your vision, or what's your mission statement, and how do you define it? And can you define it in one sentence? If you can, then you will be inspired to keep going, and you'll know your why. And sometimes we need to work and dig down a fair bit to get that clear. All right, ways to be more relevant personally. So this is just for you personally. So be more authentic. It just be everything coming from you. And the person I'm talking about that is now put the face up on Facebook, she's going to be listening to this afterwards. And I'm not talking out of school, but that was what I was saying. It's got to come from you. Absolutely you. Achieve more mastery. This is one of the biggest learnings I've had over the years. And I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in training because I wanted to be able to master certain skills, and I wanted things to be easy. I want sales and selling to be easy. I want technology. I can do enough of that now to make it very dangerous and have someone to fix it, but I can do a fair bit of it. But things that I couldn't do, it's a really good idea to master them. Be more empathetic and just really recognize that everybody is out there doing the best they can with the skills they've got. and take more action. I'm just, the reason I turned sideways in the chat's on the side screen here, and I'm just looking at that. Thanks, Jeff. Help local businesses build a greater authority and trust online. Well done. Again, take action. This is going to come up all the time. I said that. Take action. Really have to do things. It's one thing to learn things, and it's another thing to actually apply them and do it. What make more ways to be relevant in business is really getting good at being able to communicate your offer and how you might be of value to somebody else. You want to have high value content. I work a lot with LinkedIn, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well. I help people set up a LinkedIn profile that brings people to them, which makes it really a lot easier when you've got the right profile. But having high value content, you want to be seen as an expert. And the way to do that is through content. Invest in your development and remain updated. Things changing all the time. I will go and listen to other people talking about sales and speaking all the time because I don't know everything, and I'm always open to learning things. Specialize in your niche, figure out what that is, and that takes a bit of work to do also, and really be adaptable and make the most of opportunities. There'll be opportunities coming to you all the time, and being aware of those opportunities and how you might react to them. So another favorite quote of mine, today it's important to be present, be relevant, and add value. And that's what we want to do, isn't it? Apply and add value out there. The one thing that you can do tomorrow to be more relevant in what you're doing, if you can add that into the chat, that would be good, because you're all feeling very bold now that you can be more relevant. So what are the things that you can do that might be about your why, might be about writing a mission statement? What can you do to be more relevant? It always that delay coming through the chat there. So the third one, as we'll go through, okay, I'll go back to the whys. Nicolette, understanding my why more in depth. Yeah, reviewing this training and applying it. Oh, good work, Lena. We've got fine-tune social media, backing my why. Beautiful, Grace. Thank you for sharing that. I talked about being authentic a couple of times, and the third one is being authentic. And how do you step up to stand out? Backing your why, continue investing in myself. Thank you, Julie and Jeff. Being confidently you. Now, I do a lot of speaking opportunities, and I've had the opportunity to speak in front of 1,000 women, and that was just before COVID. And I'm definitely not a Tony Robbins. I'm me. And I authentically really am the real me. That's all anyone expects you to be. You don't have to be someone else. You are you. And that's such an important factor to remember. And learning to really, and as I said, feel as you want to be. When you feel that confidence, even if you don't believe it to start with, but you aim to create the feeling, it'll make a difference. And do it if it scares you. Develop confidence as a speaker. You'll find that there's so much more opportunity for you if you can speak well, and you know how to put together a presentation, you know how to deliver it in a way that will be engaging. So but one of the important things is listen to experts on these topics. Don't go to people that sort of do this or sort of do that. Find people that really know what they're talking about. The strategies to develop greater authenticity is define and embrace your strengths. Actually, I'd love to hear what your strengths are. If you can pop in the chat what your strengths are, that would be very informative. Thank you. Develop the courage to face your fears. Remember, we're going to get uncomfortable. And problem solving. I love that, Anton. Thank you. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. I think that was my biggest learning over the years. especially as a speaker, because you think you sort of judge, there's 1,000 people in the room, 999 are paying attention to you and one isn't. And who do you focus on? The one that isn't. I've learned not to do that anymore. And people have their own story, and it's very often that they are paying attention, or they're not making the same judgment, but it's within ourselves that we make that judgment call of others. Just be mindful that you just don't take things personally. Everyone's got their own little bit of baggage that they carry along with everything. So let me have a look at the strengths. We've got Scott, connecting, providing safety. Kathy, support. Julie, support, highly intuitive insights and shift perspective from Grace. Oh, Lena's got great. Enroller, talking to people, networking, thinking outside the square, being optimistic, problem solving from Anton. Thank you for sharing those. That's excellent. I got a great bunch of people on here tonight. It's very cool. Be open to continued learning. We never stop. If you stop learning, you stop growing, you stop developing. So the opposite to that's happening if you don't continue learning. Quote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Isn't that a great quote by Carl Jung? The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. I think if we can become who we're meant to be, it's something that I think it's one of the greatest privileges and honors that we can have. And so one more thing you can do tomorrow to be more authentic from that list. Take action, maybe. Let me know. Pop it in the chat what you think that you will do. Again, these now, once you pop them in, their commitments, by the way, what you can do to be more authentic or be more comfortable. I'm not saying you're not authentic, but be more comfortable in who you are. It's probably a better way to put that. Be yourself. Yeah. Okay. The third one here we've got is to be noticed. How do we get noticed? I want you to look at these 4 names, and does anyone know who they are? Jeff, you may have seen these before. Love it. Good work, everybody. Who's Nils Boland? Does anyone know who he is to start with? Or Philo Farnsworth? Or Alfred Russel Wallace? Or Lewis Latimer? Yes or no? Just pop a Y or yes, or if you know who one of them is, just before we start telling you who they are. These people created things that absolutely changed the world, but they didn't really have a good PR company working for them to promote them. So Nils Boland, he has kept us safe in our car for a lot of years now. A Swedish guy who working for Volvo. You can imagine what he invented that keeps us safe and lashed into our cars, and we get fined if we don't wear them. He invented the seatbelt, but we've never heard of him. You knew someone had to invent the seatbelt. Philo Farnsworth. Don't know whether you've ever heard of Logie Baird or maybe the Logies. And Logie Baird is recognised as the inventor of television. But he actually wasn't. Not fully marketing it, getting it out into the world and creating something that people could watch and use. And that was Philo Farnsworth. He was the inventor of the television, but never really heard of him. Let's have a look at the other 2. So there's Alfred Wallace. Pretty old dude. It's Charles Darwin. Who's heard of Charles Darwin? Well, the theory of natural selection and evolution is not called Wallaceism, even though Wallace did all the work, all the research. He put a whole lot of papers together, but he didn't know how to promote himself. He didn't know how to take it to the science. He didn't have the connections within science. So Darwin thought, this is pretty cool stuff, did a bit of it, not much, put it together in the book. And the theory of natural selection and evolution is called Darwinism, not Wallaceism. This guy here, Lewis Latimer, and Thomas Edison. So you can think about what I'm going to say. But we often say that there's quote story about Thomas Edison did it 1,000 times before he had the light bulb working. Well, he didn't really create a light bulb that worked and sustained regularly and could keep working, that was Lewis Latimer. The Lewis Latimer's filament worked for hours, but we haven't heard of Lewis Latimer. And this is the thing about branding. Way back in these, then it was important then as it is important now. So who gets the recognition is what I'm demonstrating here. We really want to make sure that we get the recognition for who we are. I told you that I do a fair bit of stuff on LinkedIn. These are some simple points that I find people don't get right. And when we work through the program, you get the LinkedIn training as part of it. And it's really comprehensive. I worked with a client recently in Sydney, a dust lawyer, silicosis, asbestosis dust lawyer, and we updated her LinkedIn profile and increased inquiries into her business by 30%. She did no other marketing. She didn't do any marketing on LinkedIn. All she did was improve her profile and then did put some posts together, because all of everything I'm talking about tonight is how you can demonstrate that you are the expert in your field. How you are the expert in your field. You need to get your LinkedIn profile set up right. And I ran a workshop a couple of Saturdays ago, and we created with the people that were on then. It was very hands-on, and a couple of them hadn't even used Canvas, so I helped them create their banners. And amazing. Even then, within a couple of days, they were getting results from having it set up right. And I went to have a look at my analytics today, and I went, oh, I'm down 47%. I usually get 800 impressions every week. But, I mean, would you be happy with 542 impressions? Would you be happy with 5,500 followers? 347 profile views? And 182 search appearances where people are searching for you. Would you be happy with those results? Who would be happy with those results, even though it's down nearly 50% on what it normally is every week? It does make a difference. I'll give you a tip here with your photograph on your LinkedIn banner. A lot of people don't have a professional enough photo. LinkedIn is your professional site. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile set up and you are in business, I'm being really honest here, you're really not serious about your business. It's where business people find business people. The thing is people say, well, I deal with a direct customer. But dealing with the direct customer doesn't matter, because those people either work for someone, buy product, or they'll know someone. You really need to set this up very clearly. So tell me who can see the difference in these profiles as to why you would have, and the two with the women in the same photo. Well, let's go back to the girl with the unprofessional photo. We don't want one like that. We don't want something that you've pulled out somewhere from a background of something that you've had before. We wanted a really professional photo. Now, the two photos here, you're thinking, well, what's the difference between those? If you look at your LinkedIn banner, you'll notice that the one with the cross, if she was on her page, she'd have her back to her business. She'd be facing away from the banner rather than looking at it. Whereas the other person is either looking straight out to the this is what catches us when we go through LinkedIn or anything, is pictures and images and people's faces. We want something that's very clear, looking out at you or looking towards your banner. Who's thinking about, who's going to check their banner now and just looking at that instead of answering me? Yeah. So we want it to look professional, and apparently the LinkedIn likes it. So the things that help present you widely on LinkedIn, they like you to change that photo every 3 years. So it's not current. You need to update it, because people want to actually know what you look like. Oh, good, Scott. That's great. How can you get noticed? There's a lot of things on this list here. There's a lot of ways that you could do noticed. I learned the basics of marketing on LinkedIn. That's such an important factor. Spend the time on the right social media. I had somebody that was working with 55-year-old women that said, oh, I'm on TikTok now. I've got all these I've got hundreds and hundreds of impressions on TikTok. Well, that's not where her market was. She was getting impressions, but that was not how she was building a business, and a business was not changing. So getting out and networking, if that's where your clients are, at networking events, and network. If not, then no, unless you're doing it for some social contact, you might be wasting your time. The podcast, if you haven't listened to my We Are Women podcast, I invite you to do so. And interviewed some amazing women from all around the world who have got some great ideas on spirituality, on business, on health, a whole lot of different topics. So we are women. Speaking engagements, that gives you a great opportunity to be seen as the expert. Once you're the person in front of the room, you are then the expert, and it gives you that authority in what you're doing. I've got be everywhere you need to be. And that's, people will say to me, oh, you're out everywhere doing everything. What I'm doing is very strategic. It's where I go to find my clients, or those people that can refer me to the right client base as well. And encourage reviews, as I did earlier, as encourage the 5-star review on Google. The quote for this one: timing, perseverance, and 10 years of trying will eventually make it look like an overnight success. Don't believe the overnight success stories. Do some research. It takes consistency. If anyone, any SEO expert will tell you, it will take 6 months minimum, if not 12 months, to get you recognized as an authority for Google to show you to other people. So that's consistency. And you have to start somewhere, that you need to start doing the right things, not wasting time and money on things that aren't serving you and aren't getting you the results. So what's one thing that you can do tomorrow to be noticed more? Out of all those list of things that I put up there, or anything that you've been putting off yourself, I would love to hear. So please share that in the chat. Remember, the things you're sharing in the chat here are a commitment. So I can see the ones that people that haven't been adding, they go, I'm not committing to making these changes. Nicolette, lots of work to do on LinkedIn. Yeah, we can talk about that too. Because it really makes a difference to add more quality posts, update profile, update LinkedIn, and do more posts. Excellent. And the thing is, with LinkedIn, you have to be mindful about the right amount of posts. It's not too much. It's, again, you want to be, LinkedIn wants to see that you are an authority. It's not just where you are, what you're doing. It's a matter of demonstrating that you've got information. Consistency. Yeah, everyone needs an update with LinkedIn. That's good. Easy to do when you know how. All right, let's go. This is the last of the 5 steps. Cool, timing's great. So the next one is be determined. And this is where the action takes. This is where you make the decisions and you take action. So how are you actively designing your destiny? Gee, that's good grammar. How can you actively design your destiny? And this is, it's up to you. You are the driver of your life and the driver of your business. I've got a few questions. And this is one question I work with clients, and I ask them all the time. What do you want to create? Most people, when they start a business, it's because they're good at something and they're good technician. And we want success. But we don't often stop and think about what we want to create. What do we want it to look like? What is that big, hairy, audacious goal? But not even a goal, just visualizing what your life will look like when you had that success. How do you want to be living your life in 10 years or 20 years, depending on your age? How do you want to be living your life? What does that feel like? What does that look like for you? What steps are you putting in place now to create that? Because it just won't happen unless you put those steps in place. So what are you doing now to create that? Actively doing now to create that? What skills do you need to learn to achieve the life results that you want? About 10 years ago, I decided to invest a significant amount of money with a couple of different coaching groups over a 3-year period, because I knew that these people were able to give me the skills that I needed really to take my business to the next level. So I was able to apply those things I learned in my role as GM, but I was also able to definitely apply them in my business, and things that I didn't know how to do well, and I learned to do things I didn't know well, a lot of tech stuff. But it was really significant investment. But what I did back then, and that 10 years ago, was set myself up for where I am now. And I'm really happy to say I'm living the life that I've designed. But it just didn't happen. And I've always done this, and it's always been something I've created. What do I want to create next? What's the next thing? What do I need to study next or learn next to move myself into that next position? So when I had young children, I thought, what job can I get that I can be home with the kids but still earn, a good income? So I trained as an aerobic instructor and invested in doing all the courses of that. And then when I was doing that, and after 16 classes a week and running and training, I realized the body wasn't going to keep up. And what can I do then? So I invested in management training and other skill-based training, and got the role that I did. And in that role, figuring out how can I move into my own business and be a success at it? What skills do I need? And that's where I invested. So where I am now. So that's such an important factor, and not enough people really focus on that. I'm goal setter, great, 90-day plans, excellent. But what do you want your life to look like? And let's design that for you, okay? And how are you staying motivated to do it? Important factor. Because if you feel like you're pushing against stuff all the time, and you need help with it, then we really want to be able to break through that for you, so that you're going to be able to create that life you deserve as well as design. So how to be goal orientated? Because not every one of us is. Some of us work really well with goals. I'm a little bit competitive. My husband will probably sound very competitive. But so for me, setting a goal means that I've got something to work towards. I know it's not as easy for other people to do that, but it's such an important thing to be able to go, because you know what? It's not just working towards the goal and achieving. It's towards part, what happens on the way and those achievements. Make decisions. I think we've covered that quite a few times, how important that is when you're planning. Set priorities. And that's such an important factor that I always, balancing something out. Is this a priority or is this a priority? And I'm very family orientated. People that know me, I've got a few grandchildren, and I like to spend time with them and go away caravan and things like that as well. And travel. I've been very, very blessed. I've traveled to about 26 countries in the world at different times. And so, but that priorities for me, they're very high on my value system. But that's where it comes back into those values. What are your priorities, and how can you create the life that those values can be your focus and they become your priorities? And managing your time. Analyze your progress and adapt. If something's not going right, take action and dare yourself to succeed. Get uncomfortable. There's some other things, ways to get motivated and started and stay motivated. So regularly review your goals. Don't just write them and 3 years later go, oh yeah, I remember I wrote them down in a book somewhere. Have them out somewhere. And again, when I work with people, we do 90-day plans, because you can achieve your goals much better and faster when you do that. Continually set and write new goals, things, especially if you achieve them, then you move on to the next one. And there's formulas that when I do the goal setting training that we embed it. We do a meditation and actually embed these goals in, and the results that the clients have had over time have been outstanding when they do that. Create good habits. Find a coach, find a mentor, somebody that you can know. And that's what I have done all the way along, is I found someone who was that next level or the next level or the next level. and be able to surround myself with those and positive people and great mentors is another thing as well. But getting and staying motivated and all those things actually help you do that. Oh, I told you I was going to give you a formula for goals. Has anyone done the create formula before? Most people would have done SMART. So if you've done the SMART goals, write the word SMART. If you've done the create goals, write the word create in here. If you don't write goals, don't write goals, or don't have any goals. And nobody's going to write that. I know that people on here, you'll all have written down your goals. Statistics prove if you have written them down, you've got a much higher success of achieving them. If you've got goals but haven't written them down, they're a bit of a wish. If you haven't got goals, you don't know where you're going. So SMART goals is the one that most people refer to. I like create, and you'll see why. Clear and concise, that's easy to figure out. Realistic, that you haven't. I watched that Netflix show where she swam from Cuba to Florida, and it seemed unrealistic, but the amount of training and everything that she did, it became a lot more realistic. It was a good show, actually. Very, very inspiring. Ecological. This is the extra one that I've added into this. Is this goal good for you, good for the people around you, good for the environment, good for the community? If you're saying, I'm going to create $1 million business and you have to work 80 hours a week to do that, well, it's not very ecological, is it? It's probably not very good for your family and other people. So that's the other thing when you're writing your goals. Will this work is really what I'm saying. It doesn't feel right. And I notice quite a few people on here are quite intuitive, and you'll get that feeling, but don't be pushed into things that don't feel right, because you won't work towards them. If they're not part of your why and you haven't done all of that unpacking and that, then you're definitely not going to find something that's going to be ecological. I want you to write them as now. So if you're writing a goal, say for next year, and you might say, it is now December 31 and I have. So we want to create it like it's real and you've got it. It's the actual time and date. So rather than saying by December 31, you'll say it is now December 31, 2024, and I have. So write that down. Towards what you want, you don't want to lose weight, you want to weigh a certain amount. That's the towards. Always moving forwards, always moving towards what you want to create. And this is one I love. It's what evidence do you have that you've achieved that goal? So is that evidence? For me, as I said, I've done a lot of travel. So for me, the evidence that, and I've just booked tickets now for Sri Lanka for next November. Yeah, I know, I plan ahead. And it was a tripper deal. It was just ridiculous. I couldn't say no to it. So the evidence for me, it actually was on my goals for 2020, was to go to Sri Lanka. And we've, taken a couple of years to get there for various reasons, obvious reasons. It's been sitting there as a goal all the way along. For me, the evidence I need now was I booked, paid the money, I'm done. That's my evidence, that flicked up and tick, you've got this booked. For you, it might be that you actually have the tickets in your hand, or it might be that you're boarding the plane, whatever evidence you need. So when you're writing the goal, saying it is now the 31st of December 2024, and I have, and I know this because, that's what you want to be writing down, okay? What evidence do you have that you have the goal? I always love quotes by Warren Buffett. If there's somebody that you want to follow, then it's somebody who can make a lot of money and knows how to do it well. The best investment, I love he uses the term investment, and I have always treated every bit of training that I have bought as investment, 100%. And it's been, it's only been a couple of times where I haven't got to know the person and went, well, I could have invested differently. But the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. And the more you learn, the more you'll earn. 100% guarantee that. It really is the way of the world. So what's one thing that you can do tomorrow to be more determined? Might be write goals. So if you can pop that in the chat, that would be brilliant. I'd love to know what you're going to do. And as I said, remember, this is a commitment that you're putting out there, a commitment to what you want to get done. So let's look what we've got. We've got be bold, write clear and concise goals. Very good. These are my goals. We've got be relevant, be authentic, be noticed, and be determined. There are 5 steps. So they're the challenges for you tomorrow, is to make sure that you take up each one of those, and what you, particularly what you've committed here, that you follow through with each one. All right. Now, I told you that I talk about how you might want to work with me. If you've listened to that and thought, Janine knows a little bit of what she's talking about, I will show you what this program was that I have been mentioning all the way along. It is a 12-week program. It starts on January 12, and it is about a whole brand authority. What it includes 6 fortnightly personalized 1.5-hour small group coaching sessions. The most people in the program I've ever had is 8. I prefer 6. It is because I help you with your words, to get your pictures, to get your stories, everything that is personally you. The brilliance of the small group is that you get a lot of attention, nearly like working one-on-one with me. But what you also get is you hear what someone else is doing and you go, oh, that'll actually work for me. But it ends up as a really nice group. So you get 6 of those sessions. We work through 5 modules. A lot of the talking about that accelerating your potential. Remember I talked about really starting at the basics and starting at your values and belief systems and how that's working through you. So you will work through these, and then we meet for a fortnight, we discuss it. Now we meet and then we discuss the next module. The next one is the why and how, really digging deep down into that why and creating that vision or that mission that you can own every single day, because that why is so strong and you know exactly what you're doing. Third module is all about public speaking. You won't believe that you can work through some things with public speaking online, but then with the training module, but then you'll also do things within the coaching session as well. The 4th one is called Inspired By. It is about sales training, and it'll give you a whole lot of tips to how to feel a lot more comfortable in the sales process. If you know me, it's very much about solving problems, and that's what the program does. It helps people solve the problems of what you're working through in your business and ways to achieve better results. And then on the 6th, design your destiny. So we go through individual goal setting, what you want to create, and then what things you want to put in place to do it. And then we bring it all together, the whole program. And in every single one of these coaching sessions, we work for 30 minutes on your LinkedIn profile as well. So rather than having to do another separate LinkedIn course, you get to do that through here, and we set it all up so you're going to get the same results that other clients have with getting those inquiries into your business. So that's the 12-week program. You get the 5, and that starts with those 5 coaching modules. There is the 6 fortnightly personalized group sessions that will go as we run through those modules. But again, it's a question thing. Just ask me questions and things that might have been happening to you personally, and I'll be able to hopefully assist you with it. You get a playbook and planning results. Sorry, I'm just reading. Thanks, Julie. Good luck with the exam. Okay. A playbook and planning templates. You receive those as well. You receive a 1-day sales pitching masterclass. Now, I know a lot of you are based in Southeast Queensland. We turn up personally for that day. So it's in the room, and we work that you get your pitch right. You really get to understand all the components of if you're feeling uncomfortable in sales this day, you'll walk away and go, I don't know what I was thinking. It's easy. I'm not selling, I'm solving problems. And I know how to ask the right questions to solve those problems. So that's what the 12-week program is, and the coaching for the LinkedIn profile. So that's coaching to maximize social media and posting plan. Of course, that's all part of it as well. I mean, so you're not wasting time and money. Truly, there's so much stuff you don't need to be doing. There's a lot of social media out there that's just not getting the traction. You've probably noticed that. And to continue doing it and putting it out there, you're just not going to get the results. So all of that, when you buy things individually, nearly everything there is valuable individually. It's the value of it is $6,500. There's more to it, and there's some extra bonus. Okay, if you've already made up your mind, let's have a look. So bonus number 1, a copy of Being Unstoppable. Now, I noticed a lot of people, I'm just going to say the chat again so I can know who needs what. I've said they want a soft copy of Being Unstoppable. If you've said that, I'll give you a hard copy of the other book, or I'll give you a hard copy of this, whatever works for you. But it'll be your copy, because particularly for Good Girls to Sell, there's activities in there that you can go through and answer as well. Bonus number 2 is a half-day goal setting and planning workshop, and that's on January 12th. So we work through, it's a Friday, and we go through a half-day planning, because that way we plan out what we're going to achieve and the results that you want from the program, as well as what you want to create for your life. And bonus number 3 is a 1-day speaking masterclass. Again, small group, in person. If you're not locally, jump online. So that is in February, that one. I think the sales one's in March. So all of these flow through during that 12-week program. They're pretty cool bonuses, hey? If you're paying for that masterclass itself, it's over $700. But this means that you get all of those things that I originally said. You receive the bonuses, which is that goal setting and planning workshop, 1 day for professional speaking masterclass. I've got it February 4th. It's not starting February 4th, it's starting January 12th. Okay. And so that's it. And that's, as I said, that's not $1,000 worth. So $7,500 worth of items in there, the value. So the speaker training is you're going to learn skills to be an engaging professional speaker. You are going to learn the sales training so you're not feeling salesy, and that you can love the process of selling and following up, most important factor. You're going to learn how to create your story, and that story is a formula that reads through all of your social media. And that way it'll be part that you can either speak or you can write about, and it'll be you, it'll be the version of you that people will want to be engaged with, because they know that you can help them. Planning strategies, identify what you want to achieve, how you're going to get there and achieve those results, and also the LinkedIn training. So that's an overview of all the components of what the results you'll walk away with once you do that training. You know that there's offers because you come onto webinars, so you definitely don't pay that much. Can you build your personal brand authority the way? Yeah, sure. You could take a long time to do it. It's unfortunately, this is what I see people all the time going, they've been doing it for years and they're still in exactly the same spot where they were a number of years ago. And we don't invest in ourselves. Well, then who do we invest in? You could pay a lot of money. I know I have, and a lot of money. But so what I've learned, I'm able to pass on to you. I don't think there's a comparison. And I get often asked why I give, such a big discount on this for people who come to the webinars. And it's because a few different reasons. I mentioned it in my mission statement, to be able to enable people to do what they don't believe is possible. Because when you can do it, then you can talk about me. And I know I walk into rooms where people go, you've got to talk to Janine. That's part of what it is. The more people that I can share it with, the more people I can share it with, the way it works. All right, so that's $7,500 in value. And look at I say here for the next 15 minutes, only because I only work with 6 people, maybe 8. But that's the main reason. I've already got 2 people booked into the program for next year. And I don't want any big money off you tonight. And this is what people go, well, that's not what you do on these things. You're supposed to hit people up for big money. And it's not. And $17.97 plus GST for $7,500 per thing is not big money anyway. If you've invested any money in your business, you know that that's not a big money. Thank you, Doreen. And all I want you to do is to be able to go onto this code here. And if you think that you'd like to have a little bit more of a conversation with me, then do this and we can figure out what might work for you. If you need a payment plan, whatever is easiest for you. So, and if it doesn't gel, then I'll refund that. So there's no risk is what I'm saying. If you're thinking this is going, yeah, I think this is what I need to talk about how I might pay for it, what I might do with it. I pay it up front. It's always more cost effective when you do that, of course. Whatever. All right. So again, 6 places. But what I'm going to do, 30-day risk-free trial, and that's part of that refund on that component. It's a great time to get started too. I read recently that businesses that slow down or shut down over that Christmas 6-week Christmas period lose up to $40,000 in possible revenue. It's a great time to start learning things. So there is a mega bonus. I run a step-by-step masterclass where you get to create your presentation. If you want to be a speaker, and what sort of presentation, if you want to run webinars, you want to have something that you can put together, then that's part of that. And also a content planning workshop. Because a lot of people say to me, well, I don't know what to write about. I don't know what to do. I don't know when to post. I don't know what days to post. I don't know where to post things. I'll help you out. I really want you to get the best results. So that's valued way over $1,000, those 2 masterclasses. Content planning's online. The step-by-step presentation, again, if you're in Southeast Queensland, it's in person. Otherwise, it is online as well. So all of that adds up to, it's actually about 8,500 altogether. And there's the things that you get, the first things that we talked about, all of those modules, all of that, the 1-day masterclass, the professional speakers as well, and the presentation workshop. So that's all included. Again, just use that QR code and book in for that, the $100 deposit. And if, after we've had a conversation, you don't decide not to, then I'll refund it. If you decide to, it comes off the cost of what your course, and we'll look at a payment plan. So if we're looking at all of that together, it's $8,500 worth, and that is the code for it.